Hey, hey, hey. I hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you with my boy Kenya Pat. Kenya Pat, how goes it, buddy?
Well, mostly good. I might be called Africa Pat soon if they don't let me stay in Kenya. I might be Cairo Pat. I might be Cape Town Pat. We'll see. Anything with a C.
There we go. African Pat. It's got a ring to it. It's all right. We can adjust it from week to week as we move along and find your permanent place, eh?
Well, I know we've got coaches in South Africa, so we got like SJ Pretorius and some others.
There you go. South African Pat. There you go, man. There you go.
Maybe,
Cool.
maybe
Cool. Okay, buddy. But anyways, hey guys, and look, guys, a little FYI, we've got a big event tomorrow. If you're not booked in for Virtual Business Coaching Mastery, you're going to be missing out. Here's your last chance. If you'd like to go, all you need to do is, where would you go? Just send Adrian. If you want to go last minute, jump in. Adrian will get you in there. We got hundreds signed up, so you'll be in good company. And I got to tell you, some of the speakers and some of the presentations, which we were just reviewing a little bit earlier, are going to be spectacular. So, yeah, Virtual Business Coaching Mastery. And on that note, today might be a little bit of a quicker call because we got lots going on. That would be an understatement. But that being said, this is a Q&A call. If you guys got a question, raise your hand. You do the Q, we do the A, and either raise your hand or, again, just chuck a question in the box, and we shall look after it. Anyways, and on that note, what am I going to do here? I'm going to go and I know we're going to open up Vincent. Vincent, we're going to see if we can open you up. We've tried to open them up about 16 different times and different days. Let's see if we can open them up today. Vincent, you are self-muted. Somebody's got his hand going up and down. There it is. There, his hand just goes up. So you're raising your hand instead of going, I don't know, instead of going mute. Didn't know you're there, though.
Can you hear me, Carl?
There he is. Hey, there we go.
Finally,
You do have a voice.
You guys doing
I
all right?
thought you were mute. We
Yeah,
had
man, I
money
gotta-
on the fact that you're mute.
Yeah, you gotta be smarter than the damn computer, huh? So
How's it going, Vincent? What's happening?
pretty good, man. Quick question, Carl. I know, we talk about the role play sessions and stuff, and I know that's, from what I've heard, is pretty invaluable. Well, my question is, what else, like from I guess a technical or an equipment standpoint, what else is needed to have a really successful PAS appointment from like a technical standpoint, or equipment standpoint? If that kind of makes sense.
I'm going to say nothing. Well, look, you're doing this virtually, I take it?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I would recommend is AirPods or, using, because like right now, I don't have the greatest hearing in the world, so I try to keep these things out of my ears wherever possible, but they tend to, end up in them multiple times per day. But I just find when I, holding the phone or thinking about the phone or anything like that, and then I like to get up and be able to, when I want to explain something, I'll stand up and like right now as I'm talking to you, I got my arms going a little bit, right? So
Right.
That's my style. So I'd put earbuds in, and then I would have the ability to be able to stand up and kind of express yourself a little bit at a higher level. Now, another thing a lot of the folks use is Zoom. I'm not a Zoom guy. There is a thing called Zoom fatigue. It's a real thing. Just people staring at me, like Pat and I, like we've spoken already, 3 times today on different calls. Like there's no need for me to look at Pat for Pat to look at me. Right. So what am I saying? I'm not a huge Zoom guy, and I don't think that you'll have any problems closing a coaching client without Zoom, without looking at one another. But reality is when I can see you and you can see me, there's a level of rapport built that's higher than us just being on the phone. So I'm going to put Zoom in there as a maybe that you might want to use. But if you're on Zoom and then you want to stand up, it's no big deal. But just understand that they're going to see you stand up and sit back down. I've done that many a times, and I just tell them, look, I'm going to stand. I'm standing up, and if you don't, why would that be weird? So that's the answer to that. But if I'm trying to sell you something, I don't want to miss a word. And not only do I want to miss a word and understand that I've sold and used the phone for, better part of 2 decades without a break. So when I'm talking to you, it's not only what you're saying, it's the manner in which you say it. It's the order in which you say it. It's the tonality in which you say it. Different, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm listening in. So I will, if I'm trying to sell you something, you're going to find that I've got my earbuds in because I don't want to miss anything. And if I just have you on speaker, I might not be able to hear you as well. So that's something else I would think about, is that I'd be plugging in my earphones so that I could listen at a high level. So that in Zoom and screen share, the capacity to do a screen share, because if you're not going to do Zoom, like as an example, I use Uber Conference. I used to use something called ClearSlide that I may or may not end up going back to. It's a little more expensive, but very functional. You can do join.me, and you can get a free account. So screen sharing, the ability to do a screen share as well. So there you go.
Yeah, because actually I'll be using Zoom. So Zoom has the ability, I'm assuming, to do a screen share.
So there you go, Zoom. And again, you could start the call and they're looking at you, you're looking at them, and they say, you know what, for whatever reason, just Zoom fatigue is a real thing, and believe me, they might want to turn their camera off too. So you guys, you can see your office, you can see their office, you got the picture of the kids and the family behind you, they've got theirs, and it's like, okay, let's turn off the Zoom and get on with it. Because you're doing screen share or whatever. So anyways, that's my style. Somebody else, if I open them up, they would totally disagree with me and say that Zoom is superpower because, I can look at you and you can look at them and there's higher level of rapport. And then not only can I listen to what you're saying, but I can see, your facial expressions and that sort of stuff. And body language does matter. So I'd throw it back to your style. What do you think? Am I being helpful?
Yeah. I get. So let me ask you. So as far as the software goes, as you're going through the PAS, as far as the screen share, is it certain times, or are we showing them? We're going to do screen share from the time we.
Okay. Yeah. Great question. Yeah. Pat, could you open up? I know exactly what you're asking. Pat, could you just open us up a Jumpstart 12, please, bud? So Vincent, what you do? Are you able to do that? There you go. Awesome. Thanks. Okay. So you see where Pat is right now?
Yes.
Okay. So look at the top right-hand corner. See, that says 374,000. Pat, could you go into any one of them and just change it to 10%? We can. So what you do is you pause this page. You'd go into leads, ask these questions. I wouldn't let them see that you're looking at the questions. And then Pat's going to change this to 10. Okay, he's going to press submit. He's going to come back to the summary page. Could you go back to the summary page, please? And then you're going to see that that's increased. And now I'd unshare, like I would do 3 of those and say, look, you probably don't realize it, but look, we just surpassed $78,000. We've only gone through 3 of 12. And you kept saying 10, 12, 15, 25% improvements. And I insisted on 5. And look at how far we've got.
And my internet is like.
So you don't want, so if you're sharing the screen with them, and then when you go to a certain section, so you take that part, you take the screen share off and then put it, and you go back and forth.
You just pause it. Yeah, super easy to do it, right? If you haven't done it a lot, it can be a little bit funky, but the whole idea here, as Pat always says, you just got to practice.
Yeah, see, I've never done it. That's why I was kind of asking, because I've never done it.
Yeah, that's it. And so before you do it with your live client, it's like playing football, right? You got to go practice before Sunday's game or you're crazy.
Yeah.
So do that. But okay, really importantly, and just for everybody listening, this is where Pat and I are doing a screen share or like a screen share Profit Acceleration 12, like a Jumpstart. This is where our screen is the majority of the time. And then we're going through, the questions, but I don't want them to see the questions. And they could. I know that there's folks that do let them see the questions, and there's folks that don't. No biggie. It's your own style. But this is where my screen is paused right here.
Yeah. Let me explain this part a little bit. So this is your summary screen. I'll go into financials, and I'll click on that and I'll let them see this as well.
Mhm.
Like what's your company's current revenue, things like that. I'll let them see that. That's okay. And once it's done, I'll come back to here. Now, what I'll do next is I don't want to take a long time on valuation just yet. So because that might take 5 minutes asking those questions, I want to get the profit impact as quick as possible. So what I'm going to do right now, and you just imagine my screen is paused, but I might say, look, Vincent, let me ask you some questions. And at this point, I pause my screen. I'm going to go over to market dominating position. You're not going to see this because you're seeing the pause screen still. And I'll say, Vincent, let's talk about market dominating position. Now, you might be unique, but it's not going to really matter to your prospects unless it's a hot button issue for them. I'm basically reading this, Vincent, here.
Yeah.
I'm going to read that. And it's like, here's some examples. Like, let me give you an example. Like a dentist offers blah, blah, blah. So we go through that. So Vincent, let me ask you, what benefits do you offer to your target market that separates you from all your competitors? This is best practice for the software as we see it today, because I'll tell you, there's nothing worse than showing your screen and then you're typing at this speed and these people on the other end are dying, right? So I would even say it's even better to don't even worry about typing too many notes. Don't let typing slow you down. If you're a really slow typer,
I am.
Okay, so get an app on your phone that records your conversation. There's plenty of them, free recorders available in the App Store. Just record the conversation or record the Zoom meeting even. It records your conversation. So what you do is you walk through these questions. Hey, what benefits do you offer? Like, are those benefits based on the hot buttons? If you could create this, what impact would that have on your business? Okay, all things like that, right? So as you go through it, you ask this impact question, you put the impact in here, and then you come back to summary screen. You've just asked 5 brilliant questions that perhaps they've never thought about, and this positions you as an expert. So you come back to here, you unpause your screen, and now you've got an impact showing. And you go, Joe, look at this. And you show it to them. It's like, well, let's go and hunt for some more. Pause your screen, go to wherever you think is best to go next. Come back here, unpause it, and you show the impact again. So that's the best practice. Now, even after you find one, after I find market dominating position, I might go in and say, hey, let's look at how this impacts your valuation. I might let them see valuation questions. We just walk those through together. So it's okay to let them see this, but by all means, don't be clicking on note to coach, things like that. You just need to know what's behind them. Is your business model scalable? Like, you should know what this means, right? This is what you study ahead of time before you talk to them. So if you have to read a note, it would be better before you click on that to pause your screen on Zoom, read the note, unclick it, unpause it, and move on. Because I've seen some coaches doing this, and they're just killing me as they're actually reading the notes that we're giving, like they've never used it before. So that's what practice is all about. I'd really recommend you get with a friend, a partner, whatever, a friend who owns a business, anyone, and just start practicing this and practicing the Zoom pause, but making sure that what they're seeing on their end is what they should be seeing on their end. And the first couple times you do it, you're going to make mistakes. I do it all the time. I forget to. Carl says, hey, can you open up summary screen? And I did it today. I opened it up and then I forgot to unpause my screen. And I realized, I got to unpause it so everyone can see it. That's pretty normal. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. Just keep flying through it. You'll be good.
Okay, so yeah, so like you say, when you get into the categories, just the pause and unpause, like you said, the financials and the valuation, that's okay. But when you get into the, the jump start, the actual 12 areas, that's when you want to kind of, when you get to the question part of it, you just want to pause that, because you don't want, like you said, you don't want to just actually them to see you just sitting there reading from the book.
Exactly. Now, the other way you might do it, a assessment, is you're sitting in someone's office across the desk from them or across the table from them. I never sit next to them. I never want them seeing my screen on my laptop. I don't want them getting distracted. I don't want them reading ahead. So what I'll do is I'll just say, hey, let me just take notes here. And when I see an impact, I'm going to turn the screen towards you. I'm going to show you the screen. Is that okay? And they'll go, yes, it's okay, because you're nodding your head as you ask the question. They get it. That's the rules of the game. And then what I'll do is I'll turn my screen and show what I'm seeing here. And I'll walk them through what the different impacts are, and they get to see this like, oh, this is so cool. And then what I do is I just take the laptop away from them and I turn it back towards me and I go, okay, let's go and look at digital marketing, for example, whatever the next one is. And if we find an impact, I'll turn it back to them and say, look at the new impact. After you've done that twice, you don't have to keep doing it. I might do it after we find a real significant or impact, or if we found double the revenue or double the profits or $100,000 or whatever you want. You can keep them updated on it for sure.
Pat, quick question. What do you think is a pretty good indicator of where to start, which areas? Say we're going to cover, 3 to 4 areas. How do we determine, is it which areas to go, cover first, second, third, or fourth? Is it based on their business, or what are some pretty good indicators on what order in which to start and finish up PAS?
Well, I always start, for me, I do financials. Carl might have a different angle, but it's a lot of it's what you're most comfortable with or have experience with. But there's some good questions in the introduction, little like warm-up questions. Those are fine. You could do that. You don't have to ask them all. You could ask even other questions. You could just say, look, I need 3 numbers from you. You get these financials, the industry. If you don't know what it is, I do this research ahead of time to make sure it's there, because we've only got 100 and some in here. And if it's not there, don't let it slow you down. You put other, and you got to do a little research on their net profit and gross profit margin of the industry. So, and then I'd go into financials. Okay, you got financials. I'd go into market dominating position is my first one I always go to. Some great questions in there. If you think it's a kind of business, I do a little research ahead of time and just say, what kind of business is this, and what would be the most likely place of impact for them? Maybe it's alliances and joint ventures. Maybe it's leads, but this is a great question. Tell me about your lead generation process. Most people don't have one, or they think, oh, I sometimes get referrals. Do you follow the conversion equation to format your marketing and advertising messages? They go, what's that, right? So you've got some helps here, like these are important. And when you start giving them these answers, you're educating. And when you educate, you're the expert. And people want to do business with experts. So another one, great question, great note on direct response, what that is. So that might be a good one. If they've already indicated to you where they're weak, you could go straight there. I've seen some people that are doing role plays, and my wife Holly is one of the role play specialists, and Holly would say to them, well, they'll say to Holly, where do you think we could find an impact? I'm like, that's a brilliant question. And then you show the screen and they go, well, I think I could find an impact with digital marketing, because we don't do much of that. They've just given you the key to their success. Yeah. So then you jump into digital marketing. Like, tell me about your digital marketing strategy. Great closing question here. If we were to put together a comprehensive digital marketing improvement program for your business that includes more compelling marketing and offers online targeted at your ideal clients, by what % do you think we should be able to increase your revenue? Great question. So I just see what you're comfortable with. Cut cost is often one that people just don't do well. You can always find things there. Increase prices, it just goes straight to the bottom line. So everyone's got their favorites. The more you spend time with it, the more favorites you'll have, and the more you'll feel comfortable with most of them, actually.
So basically, what I'm, so more so of, what type of business, it is, and kind of where they're at, and kind of what's going on with them at that time. Sound like it kind of drives, the order based on, what they do and kind of where they're at. This is kind of what I'm hearing.
Yeah, and like for me, before I went into an assessment, I would go through this and I would have my own ideas of where do I want to take this assessment. If I've only got 45 minutes, what are the 3 I know I'm going to find an impact? And then if I fail to find it for some reason, what are my next 1 or 2 I could go to make sure I get it?
Right.
So you got your couple backup, but I mean, 45 minutes goes so fast. You're not going to get through more than 3.
Okay. All right, man. That's awesome information. Thank you, guys. That's been very, very helpful.
Yeah, you're welcome. So one more thing.
Go, but
I use, you asked about technical equipment, and I've got this collar headphone net. It's called an Oraimo, O-R-A-I-M-O necklace headset. So it's got earbuds that are attached, and it just kind of sits around my neck like a collar. And then I don't have these bulky headphones sitting over my ears that hurt my ears all day. And I'm not speaking into this big mic on my desk. Personally, I think that looks really stupid. But some people like the desk microphone with the big spit filler, whatever it's called on there.
Yeah, I would rather not have that. What's the name of that, Pat?
It's called an Oraimo, O-R-A-I-M-O necklace wireless headset.
Okay.
And let me just, I'll just pause my screen here and I'll see if I can find it for everyone because I really like it. It's comfortable. And you can sit around your neck all day and you just don't even know it's there. So I don't know if they're available in North America, but here, let me unpause my screen now. Can you see it there?
Okay.
So this is in Kenya, but it just sits around your collar and then these earbuds go in and super comfortable.
Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, that would be more along the lines of what, because I wouldn't want the big desk thing neither. I mean, I'm not into that, so.
So, I mean, it's nice. Some people like it, whatever, but that's all good.
Yeah, okay, cool. Man, that's very helpful. Like I said, guys, this solid gold information, man. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, you're welcome. It's great to talk to you, Vincent.
Yeah, no, it's good to finally open you up, buddy. We tried. There you go.
I know, right? Yeah, I'm almost famous now.
I know. It's like Vincent. You're always raising your hand and lowering your hand and raising your hand.
Yeah, he's the idiot that can't figure out his hands.
All good. Great job, Vincent. But I do want to just actually look. Just make sure you get in there, and you gotta it's Tom Brady on Sunday, right? The guy's debatably the greatest of all time. He's still gonna put in his 40 hours prior to the first game of the season on Sunday. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Question is, before your meeting, how many hours are you gonna put in? And if you're the average, the answer is 0. If you're the elite, it's a high number. So you just got to decide which one you're gonna be, and it's right there. I don't mean to. It's just fact, and no doubt you get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, Vince. Awesome, Vincent. Good luck, man. High five.
All right, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, Beauty and Elliot. We're coming for my boy Elliot, Dallas Cowboy fan. There you go, Elliot. How's it going?
It's going well. How are you, Carl and Pat?
Doing fabulous, buddy. What's the good word?
Well, I was going to add my 3 cents into the conversation here, because one of the things I've done is I'll send stuff out when they make an appointment. I'll send a kind of like a mini audit out of specific questions. One of which is name your top 3 problem areas. So that and it's a requirement that it has to come back to me at least 24 hours before our meeting in order to continue the meeting. And because otherwise I'm just wasting their time and they're wasting my time, is the way I look at it. If they don't want to take 20 or 30 minutes to fill a simple questionnaire out to give me more insight as to what's going on with their business, they're not ready. And so what I can do then, based on how their response is, I know which categories of the Fast Start 12 to go through. And some of it I'll preload. Just because it's already there, it speeds up the process. It gives me a little more time to go through stuff. I still don't take more than 45 minutes unless there's an exception to that, because I do charge for some of the PASs depending on how they come into me. But just wanted, and I find that seems to work a lot as far as getting upfront answers. Now they'll always adjust them. They'll you know, and I still get the I don't know type of response, but at least it gives me a starting ground, is the way I look at it.
Yep.
And I
love it. Nice.
I never show them the screen except the home page, like you said.
The summary.
Yeah, the summary
right?
page.
Yeah, but then you unrefresh, like you refresh, like you don't really need to refresh it, but you unpause and then pause again so that they can see it, see the numbers highlighting or going up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. Cool. There we go. Beauty.
Also, I was going to tell Pat the neck style headset. There are 3 or 4 companies that make them. I actually have a boom mic in my office because and it really doesn't show up on camera if I do a video.
Okay.
But I just like it because it's out of my way and it's got excellent as far as picking up sounds and stuff in my office. It does a great job of shielding any background noise and comes across from my standpoint very well. I used to use it when I did a radio show. So I've just so
beautiful, buddy. Awesome, man. Awesome. I'm gonna put you back on mute, Elliot. Here we go. I'm gonna go to my buddy Mike. Mike, we're coming for you, Mike Manu. Yeah, hey, Mike, you're live, buddy. How's it going?
Hey, what's up, Big Carl? How are you, buddy? Twice in 1 week for me. Twice in 1 week.
This is it. I know, man. Yeah. Beauty. So what do you got? I saw you typing something in there. Give us the 101. Got some help for our boy Vincent?
Yeah, and I think it applies to a lot of the coaches I see that make comments in the Facebook group. You know, when I started coaching coaches back in 2010, 2011, and they may have come out of a certain industry. They were a painter, plumber, candlestick maker, as you would say, or owned a retail shop. And so one of the first people they went and got was someone in their own industry because they kind of understood it. And once they got that client up and running, then all of a sudden they went to a Chamber of Commerce or another event, and all of a sudden now they wanted to work with somebody they had no clue anything about their business. So when it came time to ask the questions, they were at a loss. They were dumbfounded. And I see that happens a lot with the coaches using the software because it's so powerful. And with your academy, there's 120 different business industries that are in there. Most people think, well, boy, I can just go work with anybody. But it's not that easy. It's so much easier to scale a business to 6 or 7 figures as a coach if you take that 1 or 2 or 3 industries you know the most about. In other words, get your MDP down and who you know. Get one business up and running in that same space, and then go find 50 other cities with a population big enough and take what you've learned, and you'll be able to get on these calls and do these software assessments and know every single question to ask. You will never hesitate on where to go after you get the MDP down with the business owner. You'll know right where to go with generating leads or upsells or downsells or whatever. But when you have to try and learn multiple industries you know nothing about, it's going to slow down your progress. You're going to get frustrated. and you're not going to know where to go. So work with an industry you already know. You'll know the questions to ask, and then leave your city where you're at and go somewhere else to do the same thing and scale from there.
I love it. And then for any, okay, love that. So basically just saying niching as opposed to just going to any, you know, butcher, baker, candlestick maker, the chiropractor, the dentist, the guys you show up at the networking group as an example. I'm thinking that's your ideal audience. You want to go to people who can legitimately help. So if I were to, like, I go to, we go to first principles. That's what we got to do, right? So it's like, can you help them? There's your first principle as a business coach. And what Mike's describing is that you used to own a restaurant, or your family used to have a restaurant, or your best friend owns a restaurant that's very successful. It's going to be easy for you to go and help restaurant after restaurant. But the good news is you don't necessarily, you could go restaurants, you could go bars, you could go a sports stadium with a restaurant out the back. You know, you don't need to go just restaurants and, you know, completely niche yourself. It's like we go to business coaches, but we have over 100 accountants that work with us. We've got business brokers, we've got networking organizations, but fundamentally speaking, as you can see, you know, business consulting is what we offer. But anyway, so Mike, high five, love it. Guys, take that away. But if you're sitting there now going, okay, well, what industry would I go to? What should my niche be? This is the advice that I'd give you. What are you passionate about? Okay, if you're highly, you know, I like cars, so logically I could start going to different types of businesses that deal with cars, you know, a mechanic shop, an auto body shop, an antique car museum, stuff like that, right? So all kind of different businesses around cars. So go passion, go expertise as your second one. Like, what are you good at? You know, a lot of people, billionaires will always give you the advice, do what you love. And if you listen to the experts of the world, they'll tell you that's probably not a successful roadmap. What I would encourage you to do is to do what you're good at, right? Like a really good idea of that is if you're a sport, you're like, I'm 5'6", you know, like playing basketball and dunking a basketball was probably just not going to be in my future, but hockey was, right? So, and then by the way, when I was a hockey, you got a defenseman, you got forwards, and you got goalies. Well, guess what? The smaller guys tend to excel as a forward, and as a defenseman, you want to be, you know, big, tall, long reach. I didn't play defense. I played forward. I did what I was good at, right? I actually like to play goal, by the way, totally different topic. But so you got passion, you got expertise, and then go experience. Like, what have you actually done? So you've worked for, you know, you've worked in the hospitality industry for years. Your family worked in the hospitality industry for years. Okay, so go into where you've got experience. But you go passion, expertise, what you're good at, and then experience, and you'll be able to accelerate your ability to do what Mike has just advised you to do, and that's to pick your, you know, which one should you go into. So, Mike, actually, let me ask you: Mike built $100 million company, by the way. So, Mike, what would you say? What would you say to what I just said? Would you agree with that? Any other bits of advice or niching?
No, I agree. You know, I was just saying if they already were in the type of business, it is perfect what you said, that you have the most experience or know about. And if there's not one, find something that you love doing. And if you can make money doing it, and that was one of the things we always say, is there a market out there? Are there magazines in that industry? What, you know, are you going to sewing coaches? I don't know. But yeah, find something you know the most about, because you know the
sewing
questions.
Coaches? Hang on a minute, Mike. You might have found your niche, man. Where's
Crochet.
Alex?
Hey, crocheting and everything like that. It's a big market, man. There's people making money. Hey, how about handstanding? I know a guy making $1 million a year teaching people how to handstand. So, you know, there's some crazier things out there. But when you're familiar with the business, it's so much easier to ask the questions because you already know where the answers should be. And if the guy doesn't know them, you're able to help them. And that's what you're here for, is to help them get past where they're stuck and already knowing the pain points before you get on the phone with them. If you already know the pain points you went through building your business or your family's business or your uncle's or whatever it is, you know what he's experiencing. You don't have to ask him. You can already have the solutions before you ever get on the phone with the guy or on a Zoom with the guy. And that's the key to getting the money, is being confident in your presentation, knowing you have the answers, you can produce the results. And I think Carl would agree with this. The biggest difference between people that can sit across the table and ask $5 grand or 50 grand from somebody is knowing they can deliver the value. Okay.
Yeah.
They're not scared.
I
So
love it.
I agree with
High five.
I agree with you.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's I was going to expand on something you said, but that's exactly. Well, no, it comes back once again to first principles. Like you said, that you don't need to sit with the business owner to know the problems that they're experiencing. If you want to know if you can really help somebody, it's before you sit down with them. It's like you go to a daycare, okay? Open up the phone, and I put 100 daycare owners on there, and I'll say, guys, what's the hot button of your ideal clients? 80 of them are going to say location, price. Okay, when you have, if you understand, Q&A and being able to dig a little bit deeper than the immediate surface, what you're going to find is it's not money and it's not distance, which, by the way, those do factor into it absolutely positively. But the hot button is accountability times 100. Like if mom doesn't feel comfortable dropping her kids off, she's not dropping her kids off, the end. I don't care how cheap or close you are. It's not happening, right? So then what do? If you know that that's their major hot button, you introduce a web watch, and now the client, the person on the phone is like, wow, I can watch, and then I could pull over in my pickup at the red light, and I could open up my iPad, and I could see my kid running around and socializing with other kids and see if they're having a good time, yeti. Like the web watch is a real needle mover if accountability is the hot button, and accountability is the hot button. What I'm getting at there is that if I get 100 daycare owners on the phone and that I can go to first principles, like I know their problem and their pain points better than they do or as good as they do. This means that you're going to be able to needle move. You're going to be able to really move them. This is a client that's going to pay you for many months and potentially years, as opposed to the 90-day mark where they go, oh, this is a lot of work. I'm falling behind. I'm going to cancel. Right. So there we go. Mike, always appreciate you, bud.
Thanks, man.
And I'm still not convinced that we haven't found a niche for you in knitting. We've all seen you with your shirt off. I think you'd look really good with a crochet, and I'm sure Alex will agree.
Hey, they're not letting people on airplanes now because they wear clothes like that. Don't you know? They've already kicked 2 females last week because they said they were too scantily dressed. Crazy.
Mike spends a lot of time. Actually, last time I opened you up, I think it might have been actually in Business Coaching Mastery, or no, actually it's one of these calls that I said, I bet you got your shirt off right now. And lo and behold, he's walking the dog with his shirt off. And oh my gosh, did I howl.
Well, it's 100 degrees out. It's 100
degrees
out. What do you expect? I don't put a shirt on.
I love it. All right, Mike, we appreciate you, man. Going to put you back on mute.
Have a good week.
You too, buddy. We'll see you tomorrow, by the way. Okay. Where are we going here? Bingo. Steve Cantrell. Hey.
Good afternoon, sir.
How's it going, buddy?
Doing well.
Doing well. Good stuff. I got a couple of.
Oh, I had I put some notes in the text or the memos to with regards to the gentleman that was wanting to know all the questions of how to do this and how to do that and what fits with what. Pat hit it right on the head. Strongly suggest those 3 workout sessions with the role playing.
Oh yeah. With Wally. With Holly. Yep. Absolutely.
And then I happened to find the URL link for the headset, so I threw it in there.
No, did you? Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
My good.
Well done. Well done. Anything else for us?
No, that was all I had for that.
You beauty. Okay, buddy. Appreciate it. Gonna put you back on mute.
Hey, Carl.
Yeah, cool. Go for it. I can see that.
Yeah, I've used this. I'm not sure if it's on right now, but it's Krisp with a K, Krisp.ai. And this removes the background noise from your meetings. So if there's cars going by or something like that, it removes that noise from your microphone. So yeah, there's a free version and a paid version.
So there we go.
Very cool.
There we go. Well done. All right, Mark has got a question. Mark, where are you? We got Mike. Oh, here he is. Mark Fiorini. I'm going to take a wild guess and say He's Italian. Let's see how I do. Might be off cooking pasta because you're still muted. Let's go, Mike, the Italian stallion Fiorini. There he is.
There he is.
Mark.
Hey, guys. Mark Fiorini.
How did I
Rochester.
do? Is that an Italian name or did I miss?
It is. It actually means small flower in Italian.
Hang on, I'm going to open up Mike again. There you go, small flower. There you go, cool.
It was originally Florini, but when they came through Ellis Island, they changed it. So
Really? I don't know what to say to that. It's amazing. It's amazing. There you go. My name means nothing. There you go. My name means two first names. There you go. The man with two first names. Anyway.
I want to first thank you guys for all the work you do and everything that goes on. So
Thanks,
getting
man.
some better traction with some stuff. I'm not an expert in this particular that I'm getting to, but there's a financial advisor group that wants me to come in and do some work for them. I'm going to be hopefully closing on them and get them signed up next week. My thoughts were lead generation and expertise development with them. They've got a lot of lead gen tools, but they've never used them and they don't know how to implement them. So that's where I was going to start. And I was just curious what your thoughts were and what you guys seen as successes in that group.
Yep. Look, what I would do what I'm good at. So you just described something you're good at. So you're going to hit a home run. The only thing that I'd help you with, given you said that, I'm going to guess on a scale of 1 to 10, where do you rank yourself in sales? Closer to 3 or 9?
Oh, closer to 3.
Yeah. So, which is not a surprise because of your talent. So what I want you to do is you need to express what you just said in a benefit-laden way. Okay. More time, more money, more freedom. Like you got to think of the benefit on the other end of that. So don't, like, in other words, don't say that they're not going to pay you to say what you just said, like what you just said you're going to do, but they will pay you for more money, more systems, higher valuation, yada, yada, yada. The way that you're going to get there is different than the way that I would get there because I'm more of a sales and marketing guy. So when I worked with them, I'm going sales and marketing and talking about hiring people, et cetera, joint ventures. You're not going to go there. You're going to do it in a different way. We're both going to get there because ultimately, what do they want? They want a profitable company that operates without them being a slave and, time for money and yada, yada, yada. We could go on. So we're both going to help them build a really systematized, profitable company. But my roadmap is going to be a little different than your roadmap because of my talents. So, and that's okay, by the way. But the way that you express it so that you get the deal done is critical. So make sure you say all that in a benefit-laden way as to what they want, which is more time, more money, more freedom, et cetera. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pat, what would you say to what I just said? Would you expand upon that at all, or what would you say?
Yeah, I don't have anything to add there. That's good. It's good.
Two bananas. Okay. Well, there we go. So, and did you say something about financial folks somewhere, Mark?
Well, the people I'm meeting with are financial planners.
Okay. I can tell you, look, okay, so if you sit down with them, and now I want to help you with, you want to get this deal done. Here's what I want to do is a little red arrow. I'm going to establish that little red arrow. You are here. Okay. Like, are they analytical or are they fast talking sales types? Okay. Well, you should adjust your approach slightly for the two different personalities, if that makes sense. Right. And not to mention how you help them. But I can tell you, if they're good financial planners, on average, what you're going to find is they're pretty good salespeople. So they kind of fall into the realtor, mortgage broker, financial planner. Like they all fall into the same mold. I can tell you with about 80% predictability, the most profitable thing that you'll do is help them with follow-up. So they get the leads, they get the calls, they get the introductions, but if the guy doesn't buy straight away, they drop the ball. So they don't have a drip campaign, a follow-up series. They're not using CRM, that sort of thing. If you help them on the follow-through and the follow-up, you'll find that you'll help the category mortgage, realtor, financial planner, insurance types. You'll move the needle with the majority of them. Does that make sense? That help?
Absolutely. Yep. Thank you.
There you go. Cuban. Okay. Mark, the Italian stallion, Fiorini, small flower, no less. Very cool. Okay, well, you know what, guys? We mentioned we're almost at the end. If anybody's got a question, raise your hand or forever hold your peace, or at least hold it until Tuesday when we're back. I think I'm going to be flying solo next week, by the way.
You are. That's right.
Hang on. Vincent's got his hand up. Vincent, did you mean to do that, or is that?
No. Yeah, real quick, Carl. You mentioned earlier when I was talking about the equipment. You mentioned some. Did you say earpods? What did you say?
Yeah, just with the. Okay, so you're using. I'll assume you're using an iPhone. You just
Yes.
get AirPods. So you get AirPods. I'm going to recommend what Pat told you here. Pat, could you hit that? I want to see a picture of that if you could. The necklace dealio. Can you see Pat's screen?
Yes.
Okay, so what am I looking at here, Pat? Those go into your ears?
Yeah, the top part here goes in your ears. And then this just sits around your neck and it's very comfortable. And tiny little microphone on the front you can't really see. And then the battery lasts about, I think about 10 hours. So I just recharge it. I just kind of plug it in. Standard little like phone charger thing that just plugs into your computer or whatever. And yeah, it's good for the whole day.
Okay, so there you go. And AirPods, I use AirPods, and they just go in your ear. And I got to tell you that I get told that people can hear them. There we go, Amazon. So anyway, so they just sit in your ears and they're functional as heck, and you can just freely move about, which I think is important when going to. When I want to be selling you something, the last thing I want to be thinking about is my phone. Is it close enough to my mouth? Can he hear me, etc.? I just want to go. Yeah. So that's my. There they are right there. But there's lots of options here for you.
Cool.
Okay, does that help?
That helps a lot, man. Appreciate it.
Awesome. No worries, Vincent. Put you back on mute. All right, there we go. Kenya Pats. That's it for us today, buddy. Any final words for our folks? You're all good?
We're all good here on this end. Yep.
Awesome. Okay, we appreciate you. You bet. We appreciate you, buddy, and we appreciate all you guys here playing full out. Lots of great questions, and again, like Pat always says, just go practice. That's sounds trite, but it worked pretty well for Tom Brady and Michael Jordan. It'll work well for you guys too. But we talk about it, then we don't tend to do it. And the guys, as I open up Mike and that sort of stuff, a guy built $100 million company. He's going to tell you that. Look, it's just hard freaking work. He'd like, the 4-hour work week and all this stuff. It's not happening. It didn't happen for him. It's not going to happen for you. It doesn't work for Pat. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for Adrian. It doesn't work for 99.9% of the population. So don't fall into that. Just bloody go practice. Do your homework. Go to first principles. Can you solve their problem? Do you even know what their problem is? And then can you solve that problem? And if you can do that, I got to tell you, you're going to get yourself a whole lot of coaching clients. And one of the things Mike said as well is that you're going to be that much more confident when you go in there. Like, here's a little bit of homework here before I go. My last little bit. Get a pen and paper. Okay, and I've recommended this many a time, so this could be duplicating something you've heard before. But my question is, did you do it? Pen and paper, and write down 50 ways to help a restaurant. Okay, or butcher, baker, candlestick maker, the chiropractor, the dentist, you decide, right? And if you want an example of this, just Google Carl Bryan case study, and you're going to be looking at 2 days. I think it's 8 and 9, but you'll see it. Just Google Carl Bryan case study, restaurant case study, whatever. You're going to see it there. And there's 50 ways to help a restaurant, and that's an example. So your homework is to go grab a pen and paper. I think it's 10 times more powerful with a pen and paper than your iPad or your iPhone or whatever, but you decide, and write down 50 ways to help a specific business owner. And what's going to happen is you'll wake up tomorrow, you'll wake up on Monday, and you'll be so excited to go and help the restaurant. You won't even be thinking about the money. All you're going to be is like, I wonder if this will work. Oh my gosh, if they did this, and this, like if they did idea 7, 10, and 13 and they combined them, wow, like that would be a real needle mover. And you're going to be pumped to go and help a restaurant owner. Okay. Well, what's going to happen is when you're that pumped to get started with the restaurant owner, that's going to come across. Your passion is going to come out. Your confidence is going to come out, and you're going to be able to close at a significantly higher level. And then as you get a little bit better, you follow Pat's advice, you practice, get in front of folks, you're going to feel more comfortable putting, you know, 10, 25, 50, $100,000 price tags in front of folks. And if you're sitting there wondering, you can also see a podcast where I answered a question, what goes into a $100,000 coaching program? And I opened up one of my clients who still works with us today, by the way, but she spent $100,000 back in, I'm going to say it was 2008. It was 2008, 2009. She's a veterinarian. And I opened her up and I sold her a $100,000 coaching program, and we talked about it. And I talked about what went in it. I'm not saying that for any other reason than to inspire you guys. When Mike says, charge significantly more than what you're currently offering by being more confident, I'm going to tell you that in 2008, I did 6-figure coaching deals. I did a lot of them, and I charged a lot more than $100,000 for different deals as well. I won't go into that, and I most certainly am not trying to pat myself on the back. I'm trying to inspire you in that when you can write down 50 to 75 different ways to help a restaurant, and you go do the math and you see it extrapolate out and you see the compounding effect, you feel very, very comfortable charging $24,000, $36,000 to a business, because you're going to be putting 50, 75, 100, 250 grand of profit into their jeans, right? So that's what I would say is that homework, pen and paper, go write down 50 ways to help a specific niche. And you tell me the following day if you're super pumped and super excited to start ringing around and getting accountants to introduce you to restaurants and the chamber members to introduce you to restaurants and your buddies and your wife and your cousins, aunts, or whoever, right? Recommending you to help the restaurant. So there you go. That's my final rant for today, guys. But get in there, practice. And hopefully if you guys are not booked for Virtual Business Coaching Mastery, you're going to be missing out. So get yourself booked, folks. But thank you so much. We'll speak to you either tomorrow or next Tuesday. Adios, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.